Angela, happy Friday. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Awesome, awesome. Safe flights back, no trouble getting back home.
Yeah, no, everything was smooth, just finally got over the jet lag. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're used to it by now, right?
oh yeah, but I think we needed to catch up sleep, crazy week and baby was jet lagged too.
Yeah, the whole family got to deal with it as well. So, I mean, congratulations, champ. I mean, it was great to see you back in there. I mean, just how did you kind of celebrate this time around? It was a big one.
Thank you. Yeah, we came back on Monday and so far just been back at the gym, seeing all the students. I taught class yesterday, which was fun. And then actually I'm taking my whole team for a steak dinner Sunday night and my family, I'm taking them for just like a staycation in Waikiki. So just relax, and have some time with the family.
Of course, and it's such a luxury for you, with living in Hawaii. It's like every day's a vacation, I'm sure.
When we can get out of this gym, yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I said, it was great to see you back in there. We caught up before the title fight, and you were saying how, you were kind of feeling like, oh, I'm going to be very nervous for this one. It's been a while since you fought, mother now, all these kind of elements to it. What did it actually feel like once fight week started, then on fight night? Like, were you as nervous as you kind of were worried about? Because it didn't seem like it, from a viewer perspective.
I think like the weeks and the days leading up to the fight, like with each day, I just was building more and more confidence, and especially when we landed in Singapore, I just felt like such good energy, being back there with my husband and showing our daughter, the dad met, and this is like where we lived for, a few years, and it just felt so good to be back. And then yeah, on fight week, just seeing everybody and the people I work with at one, and just being back in that environment like felt right. And yeah, I think just with each day as the fight approached, I just built more and more confidence.
Right. Just kind of getting that sense of familiarity back, since it had been a while, right?
Yeah, I was just telling the people at one, like for me, it's like I never left, right? Because I didn't go through that whole COVID situation where they had like no crowd and all these like regulations. It was a lot less. It was a lot more what I was used to. Because when I left, I fought in 2019, right?
Hmm.
So it was back with the live shows and the audience and everything like that.
Yeah, I know you got lucky by skipping over the no crowds, which was a thing that everyone had to adjust to. But as for physically in there, Angela, everyone talks about ring rust. Like again, didn't seem like that was an issue for you watching it, but did you feel any of that at all?
Um, you know what? Like, surprisingly, like, no, because I think the reasoning for that is I just trained so much and so hard leading up to this fight. Every single session, like 3 sessions a day, and sparring. And I think, like, my coach, my dad, he always believes in being over prepared. A lot better than under prepared, and so we really made sure that I was, like 110% ready for this fight.
The belt, I wanted to ask you about what you thought about the new belt because that thing's huge and like it was funny seeing you like hold it and then with the baby it's like man I bet the belt already weighs enough.
Yeah, I think it's about 20 pounds and it's like the same weight as my daughter. So it's crazy. It's nice. I'm glad that, one, made a change to the belts for this 10th anniversary. It's definitely something special. A lot bigger than my previous one, but I don't know. I have a special feeling for the original belt, just because that was like the first one that I won. It was like to me. But this new belt is very significant as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool to be able to say that you're somebody who's had both now because now no one else will be able to get the old belt anymore, right?
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, so a little bit of icing on top of the cake there. But as for the fight itself, Angela, I mean, Stamp, obviously a great opponent, but I'm curious for you, having fought her now, and the amount of respect you have for her, and along with all the other great opponents you fought, where would you kind of rank her in terms of the toughest opponents that you've had?
You know what? I think that, she was really well prepared. Like I could see the game plan that her camp put together for her. And, they did really well with that. They do really well with strategizing. Um, and I think definitely she was a tough opponent. She had no quit in her. A twister was in pretty good. And she managed to just, keep surviving and scrambling on the ground. But me and my team, we knew that that's where we would have the advantage in the transitions. And even though she would be scrambling out of it, like I was always one step ahead and making sure that it would just lead into my next movement.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the twister because I wanted to ask about that. Were you surprised that you didn't pull that off? And even the triangle was looking pretty close there too. Were you surprised you got out of both of those?
Um, for the twister, I knew I wanted to try and hit it in the fight. I've been drilling a lot, but I also had a feeling that she wouldn't tap to like pain movements, like an armbar, a twister. Like I feel like she would, because there's so much at stake. It's a world title fight. So I knew that I had to, eventually finish her with something that would be absolute, like a choke.
Right. So that's ultimately how you got it done. And it's funny, I was talking to Danielle Kelly the other day, and we were talking about the twister attempt you had, and was like, oh, she's going to get another one. Oh, my goodness. But I was asking her, like, if that's the most satisfying move to hit, like you've actually hit one, I don't believe that she has. She didn't say she did. Is that the most satisfying submission to pull off, Angela?
I think what makes it like so amazing to pull off is like, it's really rare to see, but for me, why I was so happy to pull off the twister in my previous fight was because I drilled it so much. And, eventually if you drill it enough, it becomes like an instinct, it becomes second nature. So I was looking for it in every moment in that fight, and then to pull something off that you've been drilling like for weeks and months, it just is very, very satisfying, So
Yeah, all the practice paying off. And I mean, especially for that kind of move, it's like still hard to believe, I imagine, when you do hit it. You're like, wow, okay. There's something to this. But yeah, very cool indeed. And maybe next time we'll get another at some point. But I wanted to ask too, like, did this win, with everything that went into it, the outside stuff, then the actual event itself, 1X, the 10-year anniversary, all that, did it feel like a bigger win for you than beating Jing, which was, champ versus champ, also big shows? But like, how do you compare the two in terms of like the magnitude of those wins?
right, yeah, I've had the lucky opportunity, I guess, to be headlining huge, massive shows. And 1X was very special. It's because my first time competing as a mom, and having that time off. But 1 Century was very special as well. My brother was fighting on the card with me, and we both had victories that night. And for me to also get that win back and finish Xiong was very special. So it's really hard, to. They're both special in their own way, and I wouldn't say one is more special over the other. But definitely, like, this time around, because I had my daughter with me, her first time, she got to see me fight, and she was there in the cage with me after. So I think, that's probably my favorite moment, in my whole career.
Yeah, it's hard to top that one. It was just totally adorable to see her like grabbing the confetti off of you like afterward. Like that was something you don't see every day. So it was definitely a nice moment.
Yes, for sure. She's so funny.
And I mean, as for the rest of the card, Angela, obviously other fights that went on in your division, and looks like you'll have Seo Hee Ham next, who was in the tournament, but then had to come out because of, I think it was injury that stopped her from rematching Denice. All the kind of craziness that happened with the Grand Prix. But just what did you make of Ham's performance, and like how excited are you to get to face her next, as it so seems?
Yeah, I was able to catch most of their fight. Um, in the first round, I was like nervous because I was like, oh no,
Right.
is it gonna have a stoppage again? And are they gonna have to rematch again? But I was glad that she was able to push through and dominate the rest of the fight. And yeah, I was impressed. She's a tough girl.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, when you look at that fight potentially happening, she's someone who, many people consider the greatest fighter of all time from Korea, one of the best fighters, in these lower weight classes. Where do you imagine? I mean, you're facing all these incredible, having all these moments now, right? We just talked about Jing Nan and then this Stamp one. Like, this one's going to be right up there, too. Do you feel that way?
I do, I think that a lot of people like don't realize or maybe forgot that she's been competing for a while. She's a veteran in the sport and one of the, pioneers for women's MMA, in Korea. So I think, there's definitely like a lot of hype going into this fight, potential matchup. Um, and I look forward to competing, against her and see, and seeing how things go inside the cage. So, yeah, definitely very excited for that.
Yes, as am I, and I think many fans will be. But also on the card was Jihin Radzuan giving Itsuki her first loss, which I'm sure that's someone you've been watching. She was also in the tournament, but then also came out because the tournament was crazy. But what did you make of that fight? Were you surprised to see Itsuki lose, if you got to see that one?
Um, you know what? Actually, I wasn't too surprised because Jihin, she's well-rounded and she's tough as well. So I think that maybe, Itsuki might have been overlooking her because she's just very durable. She's very tough all around. And then you could see how it played out in the fight. She just kept moving forward and got the W. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but like Tsuki, she's young in her career too, and coming off of a injury or sickness like that. So she definitely still has a lot of time to develop.
Yeah, everyone has those learning moments, so expect her to be back whenever that may be. But I did mention Danielle Kelly, and obviously she's still grappling at the moment, but planning to come over to MMA. So we'll see how that goes when we get there. But sounds like she's interested in having a grappling match with you, Angela, before maybe an MMA fight if that can happen at some point. Would you entertain that? Like try out a grappling match with a? It seems weird to me, think about grappling maybe a future MMA opponent, but how do you feel about that whole thing?
Hey, you know what? I think it's cool, seeing the DJ versus Rotang and all these special matchups that are happening. Yeah, I think if the fans want it, like, let's do it.
Would you ever, and I don't even know if one would allow it, but would you do a grappling match and fight in the same night?
Hmm.
Some history
Against the
there.
same person or like
Hey,
grappling
maybe.
first round MMA? I mean, I don't know, man. I'm always down to fight and I never say no to anything, so I'm all for it.
Right. I mean, we're getting crazy these days, so I thought I'd throw it out there. But I know that you are focused on, continue to defend that title and eventually capturing that strawweight title that you pursued in the past. So when you kind of map things out, if you do map out a certain distance, when are you kind of ideally looking to try and capture that strawweight title again? Obviously, looks like Ham will be next, like we were saying, but when are you hoping to go back for that belt?
Whenever the opportunity presents itself, honestly, I leave it up to Chatri and Juan to um, present me with options for my next fight. And, I did voice up that I do want to go up to strawweight again, but I'm not sure what the next step will be to do another title defense at atomweight or to go up. So, we'll see.
Yeah, and it depends on what's going on with her in that division too, because she's kind of getting to that point where seems like, she's run out of contenders. So that could, hey, maybe that'll be next,
Yeah.
right?
Hey, maybe a strawweight Grand Prix.
Hey, yeah, you never know. We'll see how it plays out. All right, Angela, with that in mind, I will leave you to it. Happy Friday. Congratulations once again. Great seeing you back, and wish you a happy weekend, and hope you get to enjoy everything with the staycation, like you were saying. So good to chat as always, and thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.